Hello, my name is Dr. Apollo. So today we will continue our discussion in academic research and writing. So this time we're going to angle on validity testing and evidence testing. So these two things are uh, have a what we call something to say with the research. Okay, we are actually a research writing, so we need to show the validity and evidence. Okay? So at first, we're going to test the validity testing in our level because other critics or editors will going to do the same. Or most likely uh, within the confinement the testing. Okay? So validity testing is the process of evaluating and evaluating, checking, comparing, like that, okay? Examining the soundness of argument by examining its logical structure and truth of its premises. We have types of validity testing, formal validity. So formal validity is this involves checking the arguments. Arguments is the one that being claimed or the conclusion of made by somebody else. So we're going to check its veracity, correctness, and truthfulness. So from the to ensure logical form to ensure that it is conformed with the rules of logic. Informal validity, this involves evaluating the arguments. The other one is checking. So it's evaluating arguments, content, and context to identify potential fallacies or error. Because sometimes the discussion is beyond the context. No? So that's why it's incoherent. No? So that's an error. Okay, so this steps in validity testing. So number one is identify the arguments. So meaning analyze. No? Clearly identify the arguments being tested. What are the arguments, including its premise and conclusion? So the premise are the assumptions. No? Conclusions is the end. No? So you're going to check for that one. Then check the premises, evaluate the truth of each premise assumption, no? Considering evidence and counter evidence. So evidence can be in the form of citations or testimonial employed in the work. Then another, examine the inference or decision made. No? Assess the logical connection between the premise and the conclusion. Logical connection. So we will have logical later, no? Check. So for example, all humans are mortal. Socrates is a human, therefore Socrates is mortal. So there's a connection like that. Okay, so check for fallacies sa error, no? Identify potential fallacies such as ad hominem attacks or straw man arguments, no? So these are errors in the logic. Okay, in writing, they will check for this one also. Evaluate the conclusion. Determine whether conclusions follows logically from the premise. For example, the conclusion should be connected with the objective. That if the conclusion talks about other than the objective, answering the objective, then it doesn't uh, it doesn't coherent. Okay, so another thing is validity testing techniques. We have the truth table now. Use truth tables to evaluate the argument's logical uh, form and identify potential errors. No? Truth table shows the any possibilities of outcomes. That is truth table. For example, x and y, no? Assign a value of yes and no, no? So it will become 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. And then for each uh, variation pattern, what are the possibility, no? So that is truth tables. So usually used with the computers, truth table, in and or expression. We have a Venn diagram. Venn diagram is the overlapping there's a one position, the other position, and then there's an overlap. Use Venn diagram to visualize the argument's logical structure and identify potential fallacies. Then we have counterexample. Use counterexample to test the arguments, validity, and identify potential weakness. So this is validity testing. Okay, let's talk about evidence testing. So we have to weigh the evidence to support the belief or the claim. So it is a crucial aspect in academic research involving the evaluation of evidence to support or refute the claim of arguments. So we have internal critic and external critic. So evaluating the evidence since itself for errors, inconsistency, or biases are the beliefs of one group of people that may not be correct to the totality. Okay, external critic, evidence in relations to other evidence, theories or premiums. That's why they have a different theories. Steps in evidence testing. Identify the evidence. What is the evidence we're going to evaluate, being presented. So work only the one that is presented. Then evaluating the source, assess the credibility and reliability of the source. For example, the writer, the person who made the claim. Check for biases, the beliefs, and assumptions. Conflict of interest. For example, the one who made the investigation is relative of the accused. So bias. So the writer evaluating has something to do with the accused. So that's why the propaganda is going to be that way. Then evaluate the methodology. What are the steps they use? The collection, the data, the sampling size, the mathematical technique. Then consider alternative explanation. Evaluate alternative explanation for the evidence. So will be that alternative. Options. So in critical thinking, evaluation of evidence is one of the key, and also examining the facts. That's critical thinking. So evidence testing technique, source evaluation. Yeah. Source credibility and reliability of the person. For example, if the health issue, if the one claim about efficacy is not doctor, so how can we believe he's not a doctor, Or fact checking, verify the accuracy, specific facts or claims. So is it the facts? Does it publish during your time? And then who are the author who wrote about that topic? Things like that. Peer review, for example, in the research, somebody have checked the work, the opinion. Replication, evaluate evidence by attempting to replicate the research. For example, these research findings claimed by one person, then his research should be the same instrument, should be conducted by the other person. And let's see what will be the result. So these are the replication. Most likely, if it is truth, there's a truth on that. Should be the variation should be very small. Okay. Okay, this is one area of evidence testing. Okay, I'll see you later in the other segment of our discussion. Bye for now.